Imagine for a moment that you are that royal official in Cana, that we heard in the gospel. And you are not just a character in the story, you are a man whose world is collapsing. Your son is dying. You have likely spent a fortune on the best doctors the Roman world could offer. Yet, here you are, desperate enough to chase a rumor about a carpenter turned healer. The royal official in John's gospel was, by any measure, a powerful man. He had rank, he had influence. His name opened doors, yet none of it could save his son. So he walked uphill in the Galilean heat from Capernaum to Cana, roughly 20 to 25 miles. Of course, in our world, that is a short drive with a good playlist. But in the ancient world, it meant 10 to 15 hours of dust, heat, and anxious silence. He finds Jesus, and there is no spectacle, no dramatic gesture, just a sentence. Go, your son will live. 5 words. Go, your son will live. And this is the moment, not the healing. The real miracle is the turning around, choosing to walk back on the word alone, before the proof, before the news from the servants, before anything visible had changed. No updates, no medical reports, no way to know what was happening in the sick room. Just a sentence to carry. Most of us struggle to trust a GPS when it tells us to take a detour. And this man trusted the life of his son to the word of a stranger. Hope is easy in the first mile. It is the 10th mile that tests you. By the 15th or 20th mile, the mind begins whispering dangerous thoughts. What if I misunderstood him? What if nothing has changed? What if my son is already dead? Yet the man keeps walking. And that dusty road from Cana to Capernaum may be one of the most honest descriptions of faith in the whole of Gospels. Walking toward home with nothing but a promise. It reminds me of the explorer Ernest Shackleton. In 1914, he led an expedition to cross Antarctica, but his ship, named Endurance, became trapped in ice and was eventually crushed. Stranded for nearly 2 years in the Antarctic wilderness, Shackleton somehow kept all his 27 men alive for 2 years. One crew member later said, the remarkable thing about him was this: he simply believed that they would get home. It was faith that looked like leadership. It was leadership that looked like faith. And faith often looks like that. Not certainty, just the stubborn refusal to stop moving toward hope. And there is a beautiful detail at the end of the gospel story today. When the official finally meets his servants and asks when the fever left his son, they tell him the exact hour Jesus had spoken. And God, it seems, has an extraordinary sense of timing or precision that we would probably call coincidence. This Lent, many of us are maybe walking our own long road. Perhaps we are carrying a diagnosis, a wounded relationship, a silence from someone we love, or a prayer that has been folded and unfolded so many times the creases are wearing through. And the gospel does not pretend that the road is easy. It simply invites us to keep walking. The royal official arrived home to find his son alive, and quietly he and his household came to believe. And perhaps that is the hidden lesson of the story. Sometimes the walking makes the believing possible. So the question for us today is simple. What word are you carrying? And will you trust it enough to keep walking toward home?